Good morning, and thank you for joining us as we introduce a new era of educational opportunity in Michigan. Today, I'm reminded of a quote from Christine Gregoire, the second female governor of Washington and a Michigan native. She once said, "Education is the foundation upon which we build our future." In fact, the American dream is built upon that very premise. It's the idea that a quality education coupled with hard work and determination will unlock the doors of opportunity. It's the idea that no matter where we grew up, no matter your family's financial status, no matter your race, color, or creed, the barriers to success will be torn down through scholarship and enlightenment. It's the idea that education can take our far-reaching dreams and transform them into reality, making the impossible possible. Because only in America could a little boy from Incheon, South Korea, be standing at this podium today as a state senator in the United States of America. It's a testament to my amazing parents who instilled in me the value of a quality education, my mother, the principal at Johnson Elementary School in Taylor, and my father, the president of the Michigan Federation of Teachers and School-Related Personnel. It's a testament to all the educators who helped me learn and grow along the way. I want to take a moment to thank them for the countless hours they put into the classroom, because I would not be here today without them. To keep the American dream alive, it's been my mission to ensure that all students have the same educational opportunities that I had. And that begins with the selfless men and women at the forefront of the classroom. But it's become increasingly difficult for schools to prepare, attract, and retain the kind of educators who I had pushing me. For the past 7 years, we've seen a fundamental failure on the behalf of Lansing lawmakers to maintain a viable system of education in Michigan that works for teachers, hardworking parents, and students. They've continually attacked and degraded the noble profession of teaching, putting corporate welfare before educational investment. As a result, we're seeing less and less young people pursue teaching. Enrollment in teacher prep programs dropped 23% between 2012 and 2014. And the number of newly certified teachers in our state continues to drop at an alarming rate. When Governor Snyder took office in 2010, we had almost 6,000 newly certified teachers enter our schools each year. That number is now just 3,600, and the single largest drop happened between 2013 and 14, when we lost 1,000 new teachers in 1 year. This has led to a severe epidemic of overcrowding in the classroom. School districts are forced to cram upwards of 40 students with a single educator in one classroom in order to make budgets work. Teachers are struggling to educate twice as many students, while students are receiving half the specialized attention. It's common sense. Students in overcrowded classrooms perform far worse than students in smaller classes. And it's one of the reasons too many kids are unprepared or underprepared for higher education. As a result, test scores have remained virtually stagnant. Michigan student achievement has shown among the least improvement nationally. We used to lead, and now we lag. Less than half of third graders are proficient or better in math, while only 1/3 of eighth graders are proficient or better. And only 29% of fourth grade students are at or above reading proficiency. We have these problems because the future of our schools is continually left up to lawmakers who haven't set foot in a classroom since they were in school themselves. In some cases, 30 or 40 years. It's simple. You get what you pay for. And the current nickel and diming approach from short-sighted government administrators continues to fail our kids. Michigan State University has one of the best teacher education programs in the country, and I'm grateful that Dr. Kelly Hodges, Associate Director of Teacher Preparation and Accreditation from MSU's College of Education, is here with us today. She's one of the many dedicated educational experts in Michigan who works hard every day to combat enrollment declines in teaching programs, even while total university enrollment increases. There's little reason to wonder why our professors are left trying to reverse these declines in numbers. When it comes to educating our children, Republicans' continual cuts have failed our teachers and our students. That's why we've worked with top-tier educators from across the state to design the revolutionary plan that we're unveiling today, called Teachers for Michigan. It's the first comprehensive investment in Michigan's K-12 educators in more than a decade. This proposal will give Michigan students a competitive educational advantage over other states by designing programs to prepare high school students for a career in education, create incentives to attract high-performing graduates to our schools, and provide teachers with competitive compensation to retain top-tier educators and end the brain drain to other states. Michigan's hardworking teachers need our support, and our kids simply deserve to have good schools with good teachers. The profession of teaching needs to be restored with the right incentives and tools in order to make Michigan a place where people want to teach again. With the Teachers for Michigan plan, we can keep top-notch educators right here in our state so that when we can cultivate the talent we already know we have and set our students up for success in the process. With me today is the Graduate Director for the Department of Education at Madonna University. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Michelle Harmala.
Thank you, Senator Hopgood, for the opportunity to address all of you. I would also like to thank all of the legislators who worked so hard to understand the need to elevate our teachers here in Michigan. This comprehensive package of bills will ensure that the children of Michigan have the best and brightest teachers regardless of the district or school they attend. As an educator for decades and now a professor at Madonna University preparing both teachers and educational leaders, I could not be more proud of the way this legislation addresses the many components that we know are essential to preparing, attracting, and retaining teachers in Michigan. Teaching is a profession. It's a noble and demanding profession. The work our teachers do every day has an impact on our children, our communities, our state, and our society now and in the years to come. These bills recognize and demand appropriate and rigorous preparation for our teachers, and it honors that through incentives and fiscal support for service, such as stipends for student teaching. The bills recognize the need to attract the best to the field through expanded loan forgiveness and attraction bonuses, especially in hard-to-fill areas such as mathematics, science, and special education. The bills recognize the need to retain teachers. We know that experience increases the effectiveness of our teachers and that having skilled mentor teachers is essential to learning and growth, as well as retention in the field. These bills support our current teachers who take on the important role of mentoring new teachers, and it honors educators who invest in self-learning and growth. In addition, the Teachers for Michigan package offers a variety of ways to honor and celebrate the great work of our teachers. I also applaud our legislators for not only proposing the development of the Michigan Teacher Council, but for also stipulating that teachers, the leaders of our classrooms, be included. Teachers' voices should be included in advising the governor, the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, the State Board of Education, and the legislature on matters regarding our children's education, because it is their voices that will continue to draw people into this beloved and important profession. I'm compelled at this point to quote Andy Hargraves and Michael Fullen from their book, Professional Capital: Transforming Teaching in Every School. They share 8 guidelines for reform their research and work in many countries and states and provinces revealed. And I quote, 1, know where you are going. 2, break your own mold. 3, obey the law of subsidiarity, push and partner, stimulate and steer. 4, redesign the professional career. 5, bring teachers back in. 6, be the change. 7, pay people properly where they serve the greatest need. And 8, get out and about more. This comprehensive package aligns with these guidelines. It knows where it's going. It will transform teaching in every school in Michigan. It honors and enhances professional capital, the teachers, the bedrock of education for every child in this great state. It values and involves our teachers. It brings them back in. I'm looking forward to working with all of you and our teachers on this important effort. We need to attract the brightest teachers to the districts that need highly skilled educators, and Michigan needs to value its teachers. I can't wait to go back to my students in Metro Detroit and tell them that because of this opportunity, these packages of bills being worked on here in Lansing, their future as educators has hope. Thank you for your comprehensive work and the opportunity to share with all of you today. I'd like to turn now to House Democrat Floor Leader Representative Christine Gregg.
Thank you, Dr. Harmala. Good morning, everybody. As Dr. Harmala said, I'm Christine Gregg. I currently serve as the House Democratic Floor Leader. I represent the cities of Farmington and Farmington Hills, which also includes students from Farmington Public Schools, Clarenceville, and Walled Lake schools. Ever since I arrived in the Capitol in 2015, I made education one of my top priorities. And it's because it's one of my constituents' top priorities. But it's also because I'm a mom of 3 sons who greatly benefited from a strong public education system and great teachers. A great education is the launch pad to a great life. And it's why I've always fought to see that our schools are properly funded, parents are engaged, and teachers are appreciated and respected. And it's why it's great to be here today to talk about this package of legislation to get more people, more young people into the teaching profession and great educators to stay in our classrooms. I think all of us in this room can think back to our days in school and remember some special teachers who really made a difference in our lives. Perhaps they took the time to find a way to explain a math concept or a point of grammar that we were having trouble with. Or maybe it was something more personal. Perhaps they were someone who could confide in when kids were being mean or when things weren't going well at home. And this is something I can personally relate to as well. When I was a senior in high school, it was my senior math teacher, Mr. Dennis Kincaid. That was a long time ago. But he was there for me when my dad almost died. And here I was trying to get ready for college applications and ready to graduate. But it was that teacher, Mr. Kincaid, who took me under his wing and helped me get through that difficult time. Or maybe we have teachers in our families, like my sister Laura, who has 5 kids of her own and is teaching in high school, or my niece Bethany, who's a 3rd grade teacher as well. We know how dedicated they are to educating other people's children. Or maybe these teachers were the ones who inspired us and told us that we were strong enough to believe in our dreams and make them come true. Good teachers can make all the difference in a child's life. Unfortunately, though, districts are having trouble finding teachers to fill open jobs. Since 2003, the number of new teaching certificates issued annually by the Michigan Department of Education has dropped 62%. The number of students entering teaching training programs in college has fallen 53%, while the number of students actually completing these programs is down 38%. And among the people in our state who actually hold the certifications needed to teach in our state, many are choosing to sit it out instead. There are 105,000 qualified would-be teachers under the age of 50 in Michigan who are choosing to do anything else but teach. Why? We can look to the way that we've whittled away at teacher compensation. We can look at the way that the legislature has constantly pointed fingers at teachers and blamed them for anything and everything wrong with our education system. We can look at how we underfund our schools and then expect teachers to make up the difference from their own pocketbooks. There are many reasons young people are deciding not to teach, and it's time we address that. These bills start to answer those problems one by one. They put completing teacher training within reach for those who thought it might be financially impossible with scholarships, tuition reimbursement, and student loan debt forgiveness programs. They incentivize young people to consider teaching science, math, and special education, and to consider teaching at economically disadvantaged schools. They help new teachers become better teachers through a new mentorship program and recognize excellence through Teacher of the Year awards. Finally, but not least importantly, they help our children by lowering the teacher-to-student ratio, allowing kids more one-on-one time for instruction and learning. These are all things that will make real, concrete differences in the classroom and will start to move Michigan forward toward improving our education system. I'm really excited about these ideas. As you can see at the turnout here from our colleagues in both the House and the Senate, we are so excited to move ahead on these packages, and I know everyone is excited in the state too. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Julie Rowe from the American Federation of Teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Gregg and Senator Hopgood, for your unwavering support for the women and men who are committed to ensuring every student in Michigan has an excellent education. My name is Julie Rowe, and it's my pleasure to be here on behalf of Michigan's hardworking education professionals as the legislative coordinator for the American Federation of Teachers Michigan. Today, we are proud to present a plan that will prepare the best, attract the brightest, and retain the finest for Michigan education. There's no question that public education has been beaten and battered by the very politicians who are charged with bringing about real change. But perhaps the biggest injustice is how our state government has attacked and demoralized those who have dedicated their lives to teaching our children. We have some of the finest teacher education programs in the country, but we're seeing steep enrollment declines in teaching programs across the state. Since 2008, the number of Michigan college students pursuing careers in education is down more than 50%. There's little reason to wonder why. The profession that our members know and love has been demonized by lawmakers looking to save a quick buck. But instead of investing in the future of Michigan, they continue to pass tax breaks onto rich corporations and wealthy donors like Betsy DeVos looking to save a few dollars at the expense of Michigan taxpayers. But what happens when tax cuts aren't enough and when corporations like Amazon tell us that what we really need is to make the cut is talent? It's time we step into the 21st century and best prepare our students for the challenges ahead. Our teachers and school employees across the state do incredible work to provide our students an excellent education, despite the attacks made on their profession in recent years. There's no need for more politics. It's time to see more results. Teachers for Michigan is the result of our educators fighting in the trenches every day. Finally, they will have support. And again, thank you to everyone who collaborated on this bill package, because there is no doubt in my mind that it will help every single teacher in Michigan. And I'll now turn the mic over to Senator Conyers.
Thank you, Julie, for all you do on behalf of our educators each and every day fighting the fight. I'm Ian Conyers, the state senator for the 4th District. That's Detroit, Lincoln Park, Allen Park, and Southgate. No one would know this better, the lack of investment in the teachers, than someone from the Detroit area. Not only as a legislator, but personally, I know the value that a teacher can bring to your life. I was raised in the home of 2 educators. My grandmother, who spent 27 years as a public school teacher at Corville Elementary on our east side, and my grandfather, who was the dean of students at Mumford High School on Detroit's west side. Educators made the difference in my life from the moment I moved into their home. At the beginning of the 2017-2018 school year, the Detroit Public Schools had 250 vacancies in the classroom. The DPS administration has been doing everything they can to find qualified teachers. Teachers from Michigan will help districts like mine find qualified educators for our economically disadvantaged schools. These bills give incentives such as one-time bonuses, student loan forgiveness, an annual bonus for teaching in math, science, or special education so that we can bring more teachers into these known shortage areas. The time is now. Teachers can also get scholarships for attending graduate class or choosing to work in math, science, or special education. We all know the difference that STEM makes in the life of a child and the career path they will have once they leave our education system. And last but not least, Teachers for Michigan ensures that no teacher is overwhelmed with obscene student-teacher ratios. It's a known fact that the amount of students to teachers that are in the class makes a difference in how the child is able to receive the information and how the teacher is able to present the information. Now in Michigan, the student-teacher ratio will be required to be no larger than 20-to-1 for students in the kindergarten through 4th grade, the most essential years of their learning. This should ensure that classroom sizes in the district schools stay manageable, especially in Detroit and those communities that have been in need for too long. Senator Hopgood and Beda know just how important it is to make classrooms manageable for our already overloaded teachers. I think we all know when our teachers are happy, our students are happy. Economically disadvantaged students in cities like Detroit have the same right to a public education as anyone else, anywhere else in our state. We're talking about students that are just as talented, just as willing to learn, and hopeful for a bright future, but those who often get the short end of the stick when it comes to quality teachers from Republican packages constantly attacking communities in need. No more. Today we're standing here and saying that our teachers and kids will no longer be forgotten. They will no longer be lost in this decade of disinvestment in teachers. They will be sought out, they will be supported, and they will be recognized for their tireless dedication in helping to build the 21st century of Michigan education. Good teachers find their way to Detroit and will help build the next generation of future leaders for our state, for our country, and for the world. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll introduce now Senator Steve Beda.
Thank you, Senator Conyers, and thank you to all my colleagues that are joining us here today. My name is Steve Beda, and I'm state senator from the 9th State Senate District, which is the southern portion of Macomb County. We can do everything by the book as we prepare to attract new and qualified educators. But all that work isn't worth it if we can't retain them. Teachers for Michigan is a comprehensive bill package with 3 goals in mind: to prepare the best, to attract the brightest, and to retain the finest. Currently, there are more than 100,000 qualified teachers who are no longer in the field. And this statistic really is stunning. About half the teachers that enter the field leave within 5 years. Where did we go wrong? Why are Michigan's most important employees leaving the profession? Is it pay? Is it stress? How can we ensure that our talented teachers are staying in classrooms and educating the next generation of leaders? The answer is Teachers for Michigan bill package before us. This is the most comprehensive legislation to date that will help us retain the finest talent produced by Michigan universities. These bills would offer opportunities and incentivize educators to stay in the field. These bills would create a proposed teacher recruitment and retention scholarship fund so that teachers working in economically disadvantaged districts would be able to receive up to $1,000 per semester if they're pursuing a master's degree. These bills would also provide for educators working in economically disadvantaged districts to receive a bonus of up to $1,800 for teaching in subject areas of math, science, and special education. Financial incentives are always helpful, but a support system is necessary too. Under Teachers for Michigan, new teachers would be able to pair up with an experienced mentor who could help them learn the ropes of what teaching in their district is all about. In return, mentors will be entitled to a stipend of $500 per mentee. I guess that is a word, mentee. Perhaps my favorite part of this bill package, other than the word mentee, is the proposal to increase the number of hardworking teachers named as Teacher of the Year in Michigan. Specifically, it calls for 13 educators to receive the Teacher of the Year awards in Michigan, with nominees chosen from all over the state, and with no teacher being left out of the running. Even better, Teacher of the Year winners would be entitled to a $1,000 award for professional development, further accreditations, and classroom needs. With this Teachers for Michigan bill package and the help of my colleagues, we could end the degradation of the teaching profession and return it to the noble career that it is. Because when teachers thrive, our students thrive too, and so does our state.